Welcome back to the shed. In this video I'll be showing you a few tips to get you started with your first bandsaw. Congratulations by the way, great tool, fantastic choice, well done, well done. Before you fit your blade, it's a good idea to loosen all of the blocks and guide bearings. In my case this is done with an Allen key that I keep here. Just loosen the grub screws and make room for the new blade. I'm fitting a blade that is 3/16 wide and has 10 TPI. When the blade's in place, turn the adjustment knob to put some tension on the blade. Tighten until you feel a bit of resistance on a single finger. Turn the wheels with your hand and see where the blade settles. While spinning the wheels, turn the knob anti-clockwise to move the blade towards you, and clockwise to move it away from you. For maximum support, the teeth of the blade should be as close to the middle of the wheel rubber as possible. The wheel tilt can affect the tension of the blade, so double check that before we move on. Pinch the guide blocks and slide the carriage forward until the blocks are just behind the teeth. Holding the carriage steady, tighten the grub screw. Look at the blade from front on and move the blocks so they touch the blade. Then tap the blade gently until you see light between the blade and the block. Once you're happy, tighten the grub screws on the blocks. Looking at the rear blade guide, move it towards the blade so they touch. Apply a little force to the blade to create a small gap between the blade and the guide, and tighten the grub screws. The bottom guides are very similar to the ones we've just adjusted. If the blocks were touching the blade, friction would create heat and sparks, which would be bad for the blade and possibly bad for all this sawdust. The gaps created between the blocks and the blades ensure that they provide support to the blade, but only when under load. With the guides all set up, you can check your work by turning the wheels. If all is quiet, then all is good. If you hear the blade rubbing on something, check your guide blocks. Something to be mindful of. When I raise or lower my guide posts, the blocks need to be repositioned again, which is nice. Almost there. Let's check to see if the blade is square to the bed. Grab your favourite square and check the blade and bed. Now grab your second favourite square. If your blade isn't square to the bed, then a tilt function can be used to adjust for square. The last thing we need to check is the squareness of the fence to the bed. Whoa, that was lucky. I have no idea how to adjust that thing. Whew. Let's see how accurate this thing cuts. Push the material through, making sure it's flush with the fence, and check the results. Not bad, not bad. Slide the fence over as far as it goes and write that number down somewhere useful. With the fence still set to maximum width, cut a square. Take a pencil and mark a line about 5 or 10 mm in from the edge. Flip it over and make another mark. Move the fence in by 5 mm and cut to the pencil mark. Move the fence in another 5 mm, flip the MDF and cut to the other pencil mark. Keep repeating the process of moving the fence 5 mm, flipping the wood and cutting to the line. This is a great way of getting to know your fence and its measuring scale. Who said practice shouldn't be fun? For the last few cuts I'd recommend a push stick, as fingers tend not to grow back. Once all of the cuts are done, you end up with this strange bendy thing. Is it a clock? Is it a lampshade? Probably a lampshade, but let's just say lampshade. Let's try some freehand cutting. Mark a thick line on some wood and run the blade straight through it. Feed the wood at a constant pace with even pressure from both hands. Make slow corrections and try not to wobble too much. At the end of the cut, make sure your fingers are away from the blade. If you can draw it or print it out, you can cut it on the bandsaw, but the blade you use will determine what you can cut out. A cutting radius chart is a really helpful thing to tell you limitations of your blade. You can find them online. They look like this. Draw a design on a sheet of paper and stick it to some wood. Glue stick works great for this. Cut on the outside of the template line, slowing down at tight bends. Oh look, you made a trophy. And a car. And some bread. Working from templates is fun. Look at this lot. I even put some LEDs in this. Okay, let's up our game a bit. Let's move on to 3D. Draw a line across 4 faces of a piece of wood and set the fence to about 25% of the width of that wood. Using the fence, cut to the pencil line. Rotate the wood and make 3 more cuts. Now remove the fence and cut away the waste. This top piece has no support and is quite delicate, so take it slow and keep your fingers safe. Look at that, you've made a table. And a river table. What about some chairs? Draw the side view of a chair on some wood. Turn it around and draw the front view. Starting with the front view facing up, cut away parts number 1, 2 and 3. To make this TV look more like a chair, take the offcut labelled number 1 and tape it back onto the block. Now cut away parts 4, 5, 6 and 7. Look at that, you made a chair. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself too. More to the point, I hope that you are already on your bandsaw and you're not even watching this bit of the video. If you are watching this bit of the video, go jump on your bandsaw. Go make some of this stuff. I'll talk to you next time.